you guys and gals? Never here from Drake Wayne Gaming. It's Sunday Mountain Sword of the Gaming Drag today. I'm coming back at you another Let's Play episode of Arches. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump right back in, shall we? Alarm chain, you were up, and let's go. Alrighty. Okay. But for some reason, he doesn't think anything living, or at least anything that was living, is involved in this. What he realizes is that those crafts made of metal, glass, and covered in lights are empty. As far as he's concerned, they're no different from the ghosts. Ghosts that weren't people at all. They're hollow shells, only there to feed on the sick feeling he got when seeing them. Only there to watch him so that the small amount of guilt he had might grow just a little bit bigger. And tonight, aliens would visit him and torture him, to violate him. Not really aliens, but the same thing as the ghosts that people see in this town. It's all the same. So he ignores it as he gets to work, and it hovers over his head, even as he feels its red eyes on the back of his neck. Cameron isn't sure what to think right now. A UFO? What? While the shadow creature in the forest had been strange, he hadn't seen it. He only heard someone recounting it. Cameron assumed that man in his vision wasn't in his right mind, maybe misinterpreted what he was experiencing. But this? A full-blown craft in the sky above a dead body. Now, Cameron is almost positive he's been toyed with, like Raincoat Monster in the motel room. It just makes him feel like he's going crazy. It reminds him that for some inexplicable reason he thought Dev might be in on it. How did he even consider that Dev could be involved in this? Besides, even now, despite it being almost completely silent aside from the crunch of his footsteps on the gravel road, the voices are insistent, even louder. And how would he hide speakers out here in the middle of nowhere? Now that he's focusing on those videos, he can actually start making out some words, sentence fragments. Singing. They sang. Sins of cities are always... You piece of shit. Stop doing... Every time he catches a new voice, it fades away before it finishes what it's saying. Cameron stops so he can hear better, ears up. But the voice fades back to barely noticeable whispers on the wind. Cameron remembers those ghost hunting shows he'd watched a few times. The way they're always trying to communicate. So he clears his throat awkwardly. Hello? Are you trying to talk to me? Do you have something you'd like to say? Cameron isn't even sure he should be saying you because the voices are such a mixture of many. But why would they all congregate in this one dirt road? Either way, they seem to have moved on, so Cameron starts walking again. It's something we should see. You think you're special, stupid shit. Again, Cameron stops and so do the voices. Hello? Silence. The words don't even really make sense. If the ghosts are trying to talk to him, wouldn't they say something useful? Maybe they just don't like him. And if it's a replaying of something in the past, why are they just babbling nonsense? Cameron sighs and takes a step. Stupid. Cody freezes, suddenly making a connection. He looks down at his foot, then brushes it back and forth over the gravel. Stupid sack of shit. Cameron stares. It's coming from the gravel from the sounds of it, anyway. A gentle wind tickles over the fur in his ears and the whispers continue. Suddenly, he's back in his trailer with his mother. He's lying back on the couch, nodding out after snorting some pills. His mother on the other side of the trailer is kneeling amongst the debris of markers for arch shapes. She'd always been meticulously clean, emphasizing that while they might live in a trailer, they can still make it look nice. But over the past year, she'd seemed to care less and less, and now, dishes were used and never cleaned, boxes to take out opened and left where they were eaten. Cameron himself couldn't be bothered to tidy up. It's easier now that his mom doesn't give a fuck. He can do his drugs right in front of her now. The post-it notes and strips of fabric tied to every arch his mother spotted, even the things Cameron is pretty sure aren't arches, made the place look like a disaster anyway. What does bother him, though, as he watches her through half-lidded eyes, is the way she looks. Her fur is disheveled and sticking up in different places, and she's in the same clothes she's been in for a week. She started to having a strange odor about her, but Cameron felt too weird telling his own mother she smelled bad. It's sad. He almost wishes she'd scream at him and slap him like she did whenever she found his drugs. Almost. Because right now he feels so good, and she seems happy enough to listen to that fan. Cameron covers his muzzle, heart pounding, listening to the whispering wind. No. No! His eyes blur with tears. He turns around because he's worried someone might be watching him and his feet scrape the gravel. Sadness seems to always... Cameron covers his ears, feeling the now familiar rising tide of panic in his chest. He's going crazy. Just like his mother, he's losing his mind. But his mother changed over the course of months. This is so sudden. He's never heard voices before. Or has he? That hallucination he'd had of Devon hanging, that was a voice. But that could have been a dream, too. Now Cameron's breathing is really starting to get out of control, and he wants to run back to Devon and apologize, just so they can hold each other again. Of course, Devon wouldn't fuck with him over this, and Cameron can't understand why he'd thought that. It seems like a possibility just 5 minutes ago, but something holds him from running back right now, and that's because if he's crazy, he doesn't want Dev to see it. Sure, he'd had a few nervous breakdowns and panic attacks in the first few years of their relationship, but that's normal crazy. This is actually crazy. It's psychotic. And while Dev would hold him, comfort him, take him away from this place, who's to say what would happen after that? Behind this outgoing nature and warm smile, Dev would be doubting their relationship. Like, water time. Alright, guys and gals, and we are back. Let's jump back into it, shall we? Okay. He already is. He'd be worn down by Cameron's deteriorating mental state, his deteriorating hygiene. The deterioration of the man he once knew as a spiral into delusions deepens. Stop it. Stop it. I'm not Mom. No, but you're her son. That voice, the one that comes from inside his head, the one that doesn't feel like his inner voice, the one that won't shut the fuck up. Cameron is walking back the way he came, back toward Devon, toward what he knows is real and safe. But is he? Yes. Even though he's scared, he says it confidently, and strangely enough, he feels what it seems to like a pause on the voice's end, like it's not quite sure how to respond. Good, Cameron thinks, this time with his own thoughts. He makes sure to walk to the side of the road, the dusty, somewhat rocky surface preferable to the whispering gravel. Devon keeps trying to figure out how things could have gone so wrong. His feelings earlier about an impending catastrophic failure now feel fully validated. It's happened. He took those courses emphasizing engineering ethics. He studied cases in which every step of a disaster was detailed and exactly how each step was preventable. He took great care in his career to make sure he would never become one of those case studies, that the machines he helped design were as safe as possible. And while he'd already thought this, it's the fact that he didn't even know Cameron was on the antipsychotic at some point, just that he was on meds. He knew Cameron's problems were concerning, and he reassured himself with a crash course in abnormal psychology. While he was never as openly disdainful as his peers, the idea of trying to explain complex behavior through endless theories was frustrating, to say the least. He chalked it up to him being one of those people who simply needed a solid answer, a number. But he also remembers those months when Cameron was on his medication, how one night he'd have Cameron sit with him in the arts building on campus. It was late and no one was around as Cameron almost angrily bashed on the keys of the grand piano, asking him if any of it sounded good. Dev said it sounded fine. Then the coyote finally broke down, saying he couldn't write music anymore. That emotionally things had become black and white, that there was a wall between him and who he was. That the medicine he was taking was the reason why he fucked up his chance of the label. And as Cameron sobbed over the piano, Devon had decided that psychology doesn't know a thing about how people work. That psychiatrists might as well be drug dealers with an office. It had been the same for his mother after what happened with Lapita. Even now, she struggles with her addiction to benzodiazepines, something carelessly prescribed to her so she'd stop wailing all the time. To Devon, it seemed like psychology never moved past lobotomies. Instead, they just converted it into pills. And he never really changed that mindset. It's why he never encouraged Cameron to seek some sort of help, especially if he didn't want it. What he took away from his research is that the hallucinations of any kind are of serious concern and should never be brushed off. But he had done just that, with the idea that maybe there's more to hallucinations for some people than psychology will ever understand. Maybe it's ghosts. Devon wants to hit himself. In fact, he wishes the Weasel Man had added a kick in the nuts to go with the gut punch, something else to help remind him how utterly stupid he is. The concept of the paranormal is so far from his mind at this point that he doubts he'll ever dabble in it again. See? There he is, dude! Devon looks up, and sure enough, he sees Cameron running toward them. The smile of relief on the coyote's face seems to break the dam of emotion in Devon's chest. That wild look he'd had earlier, the one he had looked at him as if he were a stranger, was gone. The next thing he knows, he's running too. He wonders why Cam is running on the rough rocks and thorny vegetation, but Devin joins him and Cameron runs into his chest with a thumb. I'm sorry. I don't know what the hell I was... Stop. You're fine. That's all I care about. You're fine. But I don't know if I am. You are. You're here and you're fine, and we're gonna go home, okay? Yeah. Careful. Devin, rocking them back and forth on the uneven rocky ground, sends them to the dirt, but Devin just pulls Cameron into his lap, still hugging him tightly. Meanwhile, Artie is looking away, seeming to have spotted something very interesting in the miniature forest just off the road, though he's smiling. I'm sorry for bringing you here. I don't know what else to say. I'm just sorry. No, it's my fault for thinking I was special, that I had superpowers or something. None of this is your fault, okay? Cameron stays quiet, and Devin is content to just hold the coyote, both of them sniffling. Meanwhile, the coyote plucks at the sagebrush that's rubbing up against them, which he holds to his nose. You know how I hate the desert? Devin tries to adjust the jarring shift in conversation, but goes along with it, assuming Cameron just wants to focus on the other things for now. I'm starting to hate it too, actually. Cameron inhales the sprig of sagebrush in his paw again. Well, I love the smell of sagebrush, the way the whole desert smells like it. I suppose it's alright. There's something about it that reminds me of Christmas. That's weird coming from someone who grew up surrounded by pine forests. Like when we went up to my dad's cabin. Now that's a smell I can get behind. I guess I got too used to it. The sagebrush is just different. The desert version of pine forests. Pines can grow in the desert. And then I mean the ones in the northwest. We should go to your dad's cabin again. That was fun. Oh really? I thought you didn't like it. In all honesty, Dev hadn't either. He had meant to take Cameron ice fishing, like his father had taken him so many times. The second they got there, though, he realized how woefully unprepared he was. I complain too much. Maybe we should go in the summer so we don't have to dig through 4 feet of snow just to open the cabin. Dev almost laughs at the memory of being so exhausted by the time he opened the cabin that his plans to romantically make love to Cameron went out the window the second they got in bed. Yeah, I'll ask my dad about it when we get back. I just want to be somewhere with you, away from this. Yeah, far away from this. Dev, I don't think I'm actually psychic. I hallucinated a UFO a little bit ago. That's not real. Okay. There you go. Okay. Oh, you just saw one? Well, in my mind, I was someone else. I saw a dead body, and I saw a spacecraft in the sky. It didn't make sense. I see. Well, you won't have to worry about it anymore once we're out of here. I really, really hope we won't. Dev isn't going to ask him to elaborate, or tell him that UFOs are commonly reported in Echo, especially in times when supernatural activity is at its peak. While he wants to convince Cameron he isn't mentally ill, he knows that's not what he should be doing right now. Even though he wants to deny it, he doesn't know if it's true or not. He believes Cameron is psychic, but that's taken a back seat to the possibility that something else is happening too, and Dev can't be the one to figure that out for Cameron. He can only be there to support him. Oh shit, I think Artie's in the forest! Eh? Alright, y'all, I'm actually going to pause it right there. Thank y'all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and check out our Patreon if you can. It always helps. Before I go, I'm going to have a quick shout-out to our lovely bronze tier patrons. Thank y'all if I do for the channel. We greatly appreciate your support. Thank to our silver tier patron, Cade Silverman. Thank you above and beyond. It's greatly appreciated. Thanks to our 3 gold tier patrons, Zeke, Toby, and Blue Wolf Alpha. Y'all are awesome. We love you. Thank you for subbing to Ultimate Tier anyway. If you want to get your names in the credits, get access to all of our Not Safe for Work contents as little as $5. And if y'all don't want to donate to our Patreon, you can donate to using Super Thanks on YouTube. Anyway, I love you all, and I shall see y'all in the next video. Bye-bye!